Let's see.
Mis amigas
¿Cómo?
fueron a Hawái,
Ajá,
pero ya el año pasado, creo fue o hace 2 años,
ajá.
pero ellas no tienen papeles.
¿Y qué pasó?
Y ahora que están haciendo todo esto, dicen, ya no vamos a ir de vacaciones.
Oh, porque no se pueden ir
Pues no
tan
pueden
fácil.
salir.
Ajá. Pues que, pues, they can go somewhere, here. We can take a small trip somewhere here. I don't know. Yeah, no. They're gonna have to just aguantarse. Oh, that's why I have to go right now. Fuck. He never gave me his new number. Trouble! My brother! What's wrong, my sister? Why the sad face? I'm good. I'm laying down again. My stomach might start rumbling. I just ate. The East Africans, they say our stomachs rumble because we're hungry. My stomach rumbles because I ate. Sister Trouble.
How's it going? I'm laying down too.
Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Yeah, I think
I'm saying that now from now on because this brother's like, Brother Monster's like, why do we have to say assalamu alaikum? Why do we have to speak in Arabic? I don't speak the Arabic. I'm like, dude, come on, calm down, bro. It's like, it's out of respect, man. Like, like. So now I just do it to
if you
bug
don't
him.
want to.
I do it to bug him now, Sheik,
Oh,
come up
okay.
so I can apologize to you, Sheik. Oh, what's up? Sorry, Trouble. What'd you say?
Oh, she's saying, yeah, he was here yesterday. He wasn't really getting a chance to speak.
Oh, man, no, today was worse, man. I had Obi and I had Tether up here. And then once they found out he was Moorish, man, they went in on him. And I try to like...
Yeah, I was there.
Oh, you were there. Oh, that was today earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
No, I think, was it
I
last
was like,
night?
I try to... No, it was today. It was earlier today.
Oh, okay.
I know, because I took a nap. That's how exhausting that conversation was.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Yesterday we had we were up here too yesterday, but anyways, those brothers are just ready for, like, that's why I was like, send them to the wolves kind of thing, because like they've had my back in certain scenarios with FBAs, and
Yeah.
if we could just all align, if we have our different perspectives, at least that's what I should have reminded him, that Sheik actually does put in work against the FBA, the ideology, and the people that spit that stupid rhetoric. So I'm sure if I would have just said that, I mean, I don't know if I could have saved him in that, But I left
You know,
Obi and Tether in charge at mods, you know. So I let them kind of run it, and I was kind of doing some other stuff too. So
I don't really
like,
get hung up on the identity politics. Honestly, like I don't really police what people choose to identify as. So one day you stepped away, and we had like a whole bunch of Moorish brothers that were up on here, just vibing and talking.
yeah, it's so funny how I let just some people. Well, you know, because I don't really like. I don't get hung up with that. You know, I want to get past the identity thing, and if there's something we
Yeah,
can agree on, we can move forward with it. You know, but some people get hung up on that.
right.
And I can understand because they got a chip on their shoulder and they got a grudge to pick, and they're just gonna let anybody have it, you know. So, but you know, that's what I just told, you know, and so they're used to those type of things. Like those guys don't even come up on my panel unless there's someone to confront. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they see us all talking peacefully and I'm getting along with everyone, they don't really want to. They're just ready for the people that start barking and start talking shit. So they're just ready to come in here and start throwing bows. You know, they got all
Yeah.
the smoke. So unfortunately, she got the worst of it. You know, and I try to calm them down, but that's why I told you, Sheik, don't even waste your energy, bro. Just come back another time because I let them run the panel. And as she came up here, like he started muting people because you know he is a moderator himself, you know. But you know that's what kind of like started the beef. Like, they started muting each other. I was
Yeah,
like,
I
all right,
remember he. One of the
before you guys
questions like,
started dropping each other.
"Are you from
Go ahead.
Morocco? Are you from Morocco? Yes or no? Or yes or no?"
No, yeah, it was ridiculous because Bob to tell you I don't G bang at all.
Yeah.
I come here. I just come here to state facts and move on. But they wanted me. They were trying to get me in the situation where they could bully me. They thought they could bully me. The only thing is they can't bully the educated man.
Mm-hmm.
I'm educated more on their topic than they are. So before you attack my identity, actually know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Like,
You see, she don't back down either. He added fuel to the fire. You know, he's like, you can't insult my intelligence, and I know more than you. Okay, youngster. But yeah, I mean, you should be defensive, you know, in those kind of scenarios. No one's asking you to be the lesser man, you know. But that's why I was like, respectfully, just come back later because I know how these guys are.
yeah.
But like I was telling you before, Sheik, they've had my back when FBAs have been like on my ass or talking shit to me on other panels, and you know they're one. And then I should have just said like you know you have gone against FBAs, and this is what this topic is about. It's about the behavior of FBAs as the ideology and all that. You know what I mean? But
Well, see, this is the part that gets me confused with, you know, not necessarily confused, but it does become confusing on the people that you allow up on the panel and like you say, their allies and whatnot. Because I can remember at least 2 or 3 of the guys stating that we were talking about Africans, so why are you in this conversation? And I'm like, isn't Morocco in Africa?
Yeah, it is.
Even if you want to use the Morocco in Africa, why are y'all so against the flag? Because at the end of the day, I can prove why I carry my flag. You can't prove why you carry the flag you have.
well,
And that wasn't the purpose of the conversation. You know what I'm saying? We were
right.
literally talking about the same thing. They just couldn't
went.
get past my flag.
They went into interrogation tactics, you know.
Right, because I guess they didn't never see me on here before.
Right, exactly. And the way they've dealt with Moors in the past, because they have a hatred for Moors too, in the sense that, and I learned a little bit more because Obi let another dude up here. He had like a Jewish profile face on, but he was claiming to be, I think he was claiming to be Moroccan or Mauritania. I can't remember, but he was talking about the real Moors and how the Black Americans aren't, or like Africans weren't Moorish people, that they were they're the Moors that there are contemporary Moors that are there now. They weren't the
I'm a
Almazid.
Zig, yeah. I
Yeah.
ran into him on another panel. He
Oh
listen,
yeah. And
vibes.
I was questioning him like in front of everyone too, like bro, like so what do you know? I started just saying the stuff I know about the history, and I'm like, is this a lie? Is this a lie? And he's like, yup. He's like, they kind of see it like the pretending thing, Sheik, like
Yeah,
black indigenous folks. They think that they want to swap their history out for that. But I mean, like that's how I empowered myself when I was younger, you know, and I learned about the Moors and what they did in Al Andalus, and like that stuff I can't really shake, you know. So
right.
they're gonna need a lot more proof than they just co-opted a whole struggle, you know, that they want to call Arabism, and
Well, what kicks me, right, is that our brothers and sisters, and I'm gonna call them just that. Our brothers and sisters are so against the white T man, right? But you want to use his terms and his definitions for terms to try to debate one of your brothers and sisters. The
yeah,
point I'm making is like with this flag that I keep carrying. I told you before, I purposely put this flag in the beginning. It could be at the end and you never see it unless you click my name. But I put it there on purpose because it's a conversation piece. Most people, when they see that flag, they only thinking about Northwest Africa, not knowing that this flag flew here before Northwest Africa ever had the star. The star that was on there was actually the six-pointed star. And even further back in the past, it was all red. But you wanna debate because of what your concept of modernized versus ancient is. That flag that I'm flying is an ancient flag here on these shores. But without doing the research, without actually doing the due diligence that they claim they do, you're never going to see that. I had to do that because it only takes somebody to say something that's different from what you used to. That should make you go look it up. But we've become lazy as a society. We think tapping Google is going to make the answers. No, you got to do research. I picked up a law book, Bob's, a law book, and guess what they refer to my people as? Moorish subjects. So I had to find out why they calling our people Moorish subjects. That means we belong to Morocco, but not Kingdom of Morocco. Nowhere in the law does it say Kingdom of Morocco. Because when those laws were being established, the Kingdom of Morocco didn't exist.
I thought I would have said y'all are shit skin monkeys.
Those
oh
Yeah,
brothers.
dude,
that's fine too.
oh damn.
That's absolutely fine.
Hold
That's how
on,
you
bro.
feel.
Let me go ahead and just block them first, and then delete you guys. He thinks it's real funny, and then they
You
think
gotta
about why
love
we don't
this.
support people, the Hispanics and Latinos. You know, I mean, and it always screams a lot. But good job, my brother. You just got blocked, and we'll never see you again. Sheik, I think the biggest hang up, Sheik, and listen to me closely, okay?
I'm listening.
It's the and I know for legal aspects, I know why we don't, you know, you guys don't present as black people for all the righteous purposes, right? But in this time of illusion and empowerment, and I couldn't even say, I mean, it's kind of like sorcery, right? In the sense of how
Yeah.
we've been casted. So, but this is the time they want black unification. This is the time they want black empowerment. This is the time of all this, like I said, empowerment within a group, and they want to. So when they see you cast yourself out without knowing all the knowledge, they want to pit you against. They want to call you
Yeah.
white, and they want to say that you want to separate from the black diaspora, right? And they're doing this to our East Africans too. You know, our East African brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters on the continent, do not present as their race. We are so highly focused on race in America, and but understanding that people abroad, you know, are not presenting with that. They present with their nationality, they present with their religion, they present with their heritage or tribes, you know. And so and also they don't have the language that says, they don't use the English word for black. That has legal terminology and German terminology an etymology that has nothing to do with the original people. So, but
Right.
we have our own language and our own tongue to describe melanin, you know, and people have to understand that too. But this is the confrontation that you see, and this is what East Africans are going through right now. And let me rephrase this too. Not all of them are saying I'm not black because of what I'm saying. A lot of them also say I'm not black because they want nothing to do with black people, or they want to separate themselves from Africa. And then there is self-hate involved in that too. So there's that aspect as well, right? Another aspect is the black Americans, the FBAs that don't, when an African shows up to America and they go, hey, my black brother, they're like, no, nigga, you an immigrant. We the black people, we the true black Americans, you're not black, you're African. So then that's another layer to it, right? So we got all these different lenses of looking at this and understanding. And I know a lot of this is we have to have a lot of empathy and understanding, especially for the youth, right? The youth that grow up empowering themselves however they empower themselves, right? And have the patience enough to explain this to them, or wait until they become more mature and older to explain this to them. But I'll land on that one, Sheik. But I just wanted to say that because that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I definitely see that. I seen the statement made on a panel earlier. It was a girl that was, I think she was from Somalia. You know what was going on right now. You can't even use that word without getting attacked. But she
Yeah,
was making
facts.
a good point about what you just said. The fact that the people who consider themselves FBA, I'm just going to say it the way that I see it. They're illusional. But she's saying that there's a misconception that those people have that's causing everybody around them to get caught up in the confusion. Because you have people that don't consider themselves FBA telling you, somebody who thinks they're FBA, that you have a history prior to the transatlantic slave trade. And they seem to want to hold on to the slave trade only for the purposes of receiving reparations. They think that that's going to be the reason they receive reparations, because they were enslaved. The problem is the law shows that they weren't enslaved, but prisoners of fraud. You know what I'm saying? So when you are a prisoner, you don't have any rights. They only go by the rights of the captor, right? And the captor decided to change who we were. It said in 1900, and I've been hiding this information in my pocket for a minute because nobody ever gave me the reason to give it. But in the year 1900, they actually placed in law that the Negro is a beast of burden. So while everybody fighting for civil rights and inclusion and all that, they were creating legislation to keep us butted out or keep us out of the loop. So now you got people in this generation, this new day and age, calling themselves Negroes because they heard the term and they heard it referred to as their ancestors, not knowing that places them in servitude as well. And I'm talking about legal. You already know I stand from the legal standpoint of everything first, because I know the law governs all events. So now the FBA is thinking that their history starts after after enslavement. You have somebody coming to them telling them, hey, I got evidence that you had a history prior to that. If it doesn't use the term black, they reject it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's why I keep debating with. I don't have a problem debating all day with them, because like you said, the term itself has Germanic backgrounds. It has nothing to do with names. And actually it was never used to describe a people. It just became a word as a classification, but its original use, it wasn't used to describe people. Now we took that word and made it ours. They used to call you shit. You gonna take the word shit and say we the shit? And run around saying I'm from the shit nation, you know what I mean?
No, even better. You can say, okay, so the term shit in Spanish is mierda. Okay, mierda is shit. But just because I just said it in English, shit, didn't change away from the definition of it.
Right.
You
See,
get it?
that's
You
what I
get
be
it?
trying to tell people. Right. That's what I be
So
trying to tell people.
just because negro is in Spanish and translation in English is black didn't take away from the original meaning of negro as we know now with the English accent to it.
Right. That's another good point too, because in French the word is noir. Noir is black. So if I were to
Right.
come to America and look at the people, not letting them know where I'm from or what language I speak, and I just refer to them as noir, they would have no clue if they don't know French that I'm calling them black. They might
Right.
embrace the word because it sounds different. The problem is the vibrations that come out of our mouths when we say words, they are specific. We might not have a clue of the specificness, but the universe picks it up. So by you, like you just made the distinction between Negro and Negro, to the naked eye, they look like the same word, right? But depending on the context
Hello?
and what language is
Oh, man.
saying it from,
Can you guys hear me?
it'll make a difference. Yeah, I hear you, Vibes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I think you got a call. But yeah, it's Latin. All of even in Italian, it's the same thing.
What they call them, romanticized or romance languages.
Yeah, it's Latin, and
Yeah, they all come from this. They all derive from the same Latin terminology.
that's why when we hear it, our ears pick it up,
Yeah, so I'm like uber super. I'm gonna just use the right term. I'm very fluent in French, but the reason why I became fluent in French is because I learned a little Latin in school,
Can you
Right.
and I
guys hear
made the
me?
connection between all the other Roman
Yeah, we
languages.
hear you.
I hear you now. You was talking that whole time.
It sounded like you answered the phone and then you muted.
Yeah, something's up with my connection, guys. I can't hear anything you guys are saying. Can you hear me, guys?
Yes.
I hear you.
Hello?
We hear you, Vibes. Yeah, TikTok been tripping for the last week and a half. That's just the update. You there, Vibes?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Hello?
I hear you, Bob. I don't know if you hear the response.
I hear you now, but something's up with my phone now. I didn't hear anything you guys were saying. I wish I heard what you guys were talking about.
We basically were just saying like it's all Latin, negro, negrita, all that stuff. They all sound the same because they're all Latin, and our ears pick it up.
Yeah, and I was saying how I'm fluent in French, but the only reason why I became so fluent in French is because I learned Latin in school. I learned a little Latin, and I started noticing the connection between the words in other Romanized languages. So like French, Romanian, Spanish, Italian, Armenian, they're all literally speaking Latin, just in their dialect. You know what I mean? So this is why you have terms like Germanic languages. They all sound similar, but they're specific to a nation.
Right, the Romance languages. This is why they say that Latin died or is dead, but it relives through all these dialects, The sorcery continues.
Well,
but
it does, because by law they actually still use Latin to administer law to this day.
Well, yeah, old English law, common law.
Yeah, I got a phrase for you. You ready for this? Do some research. It's called. I'm gonna try to say it the correct way because I got this issue with the mouth and whatnot. But it's what is it? Capitulus or capitulus. I'm trying to say it the correct way.
Is it the dead in the
Capitulus.
eyes of the law kind of thing?
No, it's not civiliter mortus. I'm not talking about that one. It has something to
Mortus?
do
Okay,
with
okay.
a status. So it's saying basically capitio. That's the word. Capitio diminutive capitio diminutio
I've heard this term before
maximus.
too. Yeah.
Complete loss of
It's so
status.
long.
Yeah, it's a long phrase, but it's like when you translate it, it's a short statement. It's basically a complete loss of status or large loss of status. Then you have capitio diminutio. What is the last word? Minimus. That means the least amount of loss of status. The reason why I brought those terms up is because even though the Latin language might be considered unalive, if you learn what those terms mean in Latin, those actual law terms, it'll start making you understand how language is being used all over the world in a trickery way, or in a spell casting way. Because if I don't tell you that this Latin term is the law, and you just think you know what it means based off of your English understanding, you're going to ignore it. Most people think diminutio just mean to diminish because it sounds similar, but it doesn't mean that. You get what I'm saying? Just like capitio, you think you're hearing capital. No, it's a totally different word. But I digress.
Yeah, I mean it's just hard. It's hard for especially people that aren't reading law, that don't practice law, to understand this. That's why they need a whole dictionary called the Black's Law Dictionary that defines terms and fleshes those out, because the common language that we use now is for the layman, and it does not apply in court. That's why we need to hire a lawyer, so they do all that investigating and they know how to protect your rights in court. So I mean, it gets really confusing. It's so funny too that no coincidence that it's called the Black's Law Dictionary. And then here,
Well, you're
I
not to
wanted to
speak
add
on
this.
that real
I
quick.
wanted to add this before you
How
speak.
we go? Yeah.
Remember that the term, when you look at etymology, the word black, and I know they hate hearing this, but it's just curious, that the word black in Old English, right, an Old Germanic language term, it translated to paleness, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have a distinct contradiction or a distinct opposite to what we understand as black, as in dark pitch black, like the Black Knight, like, so the other one's pale, right, or bleach
Yeah.
and stuff like that, right? So that's the
Pale,
other
bleach.
definition. And so when you look at the Spanish word blanco, which is white, if you look at how it's spelled, the root word of blanco is blanc, or like BLAC,
NC.
ANCO, right? Blanco. So the root word of it is black in there, and that's another like the root word is another root of what is black in the Old English. So so that's where I made the connection. I was like, wow, that it really is that word. We're just that kind of. So I have a video, guys, on my that I posted, and it's this white man arguing with this white woman and this other African American woman or black woman, and the white dude's trying to say how black people should be called black instead of African American. And the white lady's like, no, I thought you guys were supposed to be African American. And then she's like, no, we're black. And then the white dude says, he's like, no, I call myself Mr. Black when I pick up my coffee at Starbucks.
What?
The white guy said that. And I was like, he's like, it trying to relate with the sister there to call herself black
His
because
sister,
that's what they
yeah.
are, not African Americans. And it's so funny, the video, but it's so true. And it just showed how the white man, like, he kind of knows what's going on and he laughs in our faces, you know?
Yeah.
And so go check it out. I posted it like 3 separate times. It's like in the recent ones. It's like they're in a company party or something and they're a little tipsy, I guess, and they start talking about this, and it's just so revealing. But I put the definition of black on there so you can see it. But you guys you'll have a laugh at that. But
Yeah, this is my one where the guy says, I forget the guy. I think his name is Chip, and he comes in. He was like, "Excuse me, is there a black person here?" And they look because there's only one sister that work in the company. So like, "Is there a black person here?" And they're like, "Hey, I don't think that's appropriate." He was like, "It's inappropriate to ask if there's a black person here." So the whole time he keep repeating, "I just asked, was there a black person here?" Oh, there he goes. And he walks over to the chair and pulls up a black purse.
oh wow.
I'm sorry, I had to laugh because I can visualize
I
it.
gotta see it. I gotta see it to laugh as hard as you're laughing right now.
Just type in Chip black purse. Yeah, this should come up.
Okay. Well, why did he say person at first, or did he just say
He
purse? They
didn't say
thought
person. He the whole time he was
he
saying,
said,
"Is
"I
there a
swear I
black
heard you say
purse
person."
in here?"
Oh my god, I get
Yeah,
it
is there a
now.
black
I
person here
get
in the
it. I
bag?
get it now. I
And the
get
black
it.
people were like,
You even tricked
yes.
me.
Are you
You even
serious?
tricked me, Sheik.
Hey, this language is something else, man.
And I do want to let you guys talk about this to Trouble. I'm sorry, me and Sheik have been taking up the conversation, but I do want to. I had something else, but I forgot. Trouble, if you want to speak on it, or
You know what?
EMC. Did what's his name? Is this who was up here earlier?
He says
No, I think it
MCLQT.
was
I mean LKT.
It was our
oh my
Kikuyu
god, what's
brother,
his
our
name?
Kikuyu brother,
Yeah,
but he
Matea.
left. Yeah, Matea. But let's introduce EMC. Welcome up, EMC. I think he's been up here before.
Hmm.
Brother, can you introduce yourself, brother? And if you want to speak
Give me
on
1
the
second.
topic. He said, "Give me a second." Okay, we'll give him a second.
Wait, what did she mean by supported Trump? Who supported Trump?
Oh, in the comments, I think she was
Yeah.
talking about FBA's Trouble
Oh,
because of the picture I have
did
up
they
there.
really?
I mean, if you hear their rhetoric, it's like
Yeah, but
they approve all the current decisions, all the current executive orders. They say they don't align with him, but it's obvious they do. They support what he is doing right now.
yeah, what he's
So
doing, yeah.
and they align themselves, Trouble, as you know, more with them than they do African people. So you know,
They're unknowingly being used as agents for the situation. That's all.
That's sad. I mean, it's one thing, like, I've never met, like, FBA in real life. It's one thing to see people be a certain way, like, online, but to think that this is, like, actually spilling in the real world is jarring. You know what I mean? Like, it's one thing to be online and be like, I support ICE or whatever, because you're, like, in a heated conversation and people are being disrespectful towards you, but to go and actually vote for a person like Trump is crazy.
yeah, well, they're doubling down, because since they voted for him, I mean, nothing's really been panning out for them. They haven't been promised what they thought was going to. I mean, this is probably the only thing that panned out for them because the hateful rhetoric is.
But what
They just.
benefit is there? There's even in this, there's no benefit. Like,
Right, but they see the benefit. They see it like we're going to finally be recognized because now we're not going to be. We're not going to. How do I put this? We're not going to be. We're gonna like because of the whole unique lineage. They want to separate themselves from the rest of the diaspora, right? So this is the way of doing it. So the white tea people can be like, these are our upstanding black people. These are our American Negroes, you know? And so they're the ones that stand out of the bunch, you know, and they speak like them. They have the same national stance as them. They're patriotic like them, you know. So, you know, they're the ones that have been subservient and been good little, you know, good little retrievers for them. So
You wanna
they're
know
the
what's
top
goofy about them?
pedigree. They're the black pedigree. The black. What did that brother say? He said the black. They're the premium black. He said.
They're premium black. I'm done. Listen, bro. I gotta state this. I had to because I'm about to get off soon. But I gotta put this out there, right? Just can tell somebody intelligence based off the words they use. Okay. Now, I'm just thinking about the fact that these people that's calling themselves FBA and they're delineating not just from Africa, but from everybody else who don't consider themselves foundational black or American, right? How funny would it be that after being recognized and going ahead and delineating and we're gonna recognize you as your own nationality or your own ethnicity, you're allowed to separate from everybody else. Wouldn't it be odd or even funny if they decide to give everybody else the reparations but them?
That would be insane.
But it would
Oh
be
my.
warranted because nobody else is trying to delineate from them. We trying to include them in this reparation race. They want it all. They
Oh,
want
so
to
you're
take it
saying it's going to
all.
backfire?
And it's going to blow up in their face. Exactly. So that's the trend I've been picking up with these FBA members.
Right. What are they gonna do when the reparations is only gonna, if they really take that African lineage to heart and they go, well, we're just gonna give it to we're gonna give it to all African people and all the Europeans, including the white in America. They're all gonna put their money together and pay back everyone. So then they would have to stop delineating and tie themselves back to appreciating the, you know, whatever affinity they had to whatever. But that's the thing. It's going to be hard. Okay, we're just making up hypotheticals, right? So
Yeah.
like something that's included. But again, they're not going to give us anything.
But you know what? Like, I feel like
Well,
there should
that's the
be.
I
part
don't.
that's burning me, bro.
I
Because
feel.
even if they
Look.
do give us
Hold on. Let
something,
me
it's
get
not
this
going to
thought
be
out.
monetary.
Right.
I
Well,
feel
we
like
want land, right? We don't want the fucking monopoly money. But listen, guys. I feel like the whole money thing and how they you know, they took the wealth out of the money, the currency, right? It's all really just zeros and ones on a computer screen, right? So they have
Yep.
to make the illusion, and we value something that has no value. So they got to. That's the trickery. That's the sorcery. So So what I was gonna say is, once we find out that it's all a trick and all sorcery, then it's all over. But instead, we want to keep playing into it. And what's gonna happen is, if they have to pay back all those people, they're gonna have to print more money, and they're gonna be in more debt than that's gonna make the inflation in the dollar. And so now the money won't be worth anything because everybody will have it. And what we're really fighting for are these resources in this land, you know? So that's what that will be the big awakening, you know, but that will come with it, depression and all the other stuff that comes along when inflation happens. Anyways, that's my theory.
I feel like they should be alarmed that Japanese people got reparations before they did, and they should take that as a sign. Like, isn't that
Yes,
alarming?
sister. And every other people, right? And all the money that we keep sending to all these foreign places like Ukraine and Argentina,
Yeah.
like all our tax money that's going to fund other YT people in other foreign nations, you know. But again, I wanted to say that money is used to make us pretend that we have to work for it so
Right.
that we can keep being those slaves, you know. so we can work for pennies on the dollar, essentially.
Just
Like
meet that
all these
Argentinian.
minimum wage. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I just made that Argentinian
Go
beef
ahead.
deal or whatever. And now he's talking about bailing out farmers. Like, with what money? There is
All
no
right, so
money.
yeah, it's like he said, they print money. They actually got a money printing machine at that Federal
Yeah.
Reserve. So they're not printing resources or generating resources. They're generating paper money. That's
Yeah, they're just
all.
printing paper.
So what if I told you a bag of money weighs like 200 pounds? A full bag
How
of
much
money
we
that
talk
weighs 200
about?
pounds.
How much we talking about, Sheik?
Bro, I mean, it's subjective. It could be 20s, it could be 50s, it could be hundreds. You know what I'm saying? It could be ones. But the point I'm
How
trying to
big?
make
How
is
big's the bag?
that bag,
Get to the
the
bag.
bag of money, hear me out, vibes. The bag of money itself, when it's placed on the scale, has a value higher than the money in the bag itself. Because it's a
Okay, run that one
commodity
back,
now.
Sheik. Run that one back. Run that
Oh
one
yeah,
back for me, please.
yeah,
I'm
you already
slow.
know
I'm slow.
I'll be throwing subliminals. What I'm stating is that the money that's inside the bag has less worth than the bag of money. Because that bag of money is a commodity. Get it? Just
Oh,
like,
I
all right,
got
Yeah, because
you.
it's just
a
I
paper.
pig.
got you.
A pig is only worth what you can use it for. Not the pig itself, but what you can use it for. The commodity is the pork belly. Because you can convert the pork belly into all different products and make money off it. But you can't use the entire pig. It's people who eat the entire pig, but that was through, through the, I'm going to say the being a prisoner of raw and being forced to eat what was given. But what I mean by making
Astaghfirullah.
money off of it or making a research,
Haram,
you already know
haram.
I don't do that. But I did use that on purpose because there's people out here who, to this
No,
day, after
no,
knowing what it
no.
is, will still eat it. So this is my way of
That's
laughing in their
facts.
face without laughing. It's just the fact that like a orange tree, you can have 1,000 trees that make oranges, but the orange juice concentrate is what's the commodity. Because now you can make all kinds of stuff out of that concentrate, not just orange juice. This is where the race came in.
Right.
When I mean by race, the classification. We only want a certain class of people knowing about these commodities. They're going to be able to invest their finances and their incomes and their
Right.
wages
Right.
into the stocks. These other people, oh
Sheik.
no, we got to keep them out.
Right. Because they're not going to buy our commodities. They're not going to play into the, we want halal, right? For instance, right?
Right.
We're not subscribing to this whole industry that you guys have manufactured. Yeah, that's
Yep.
true. And so that's why we
Yeah.
have
So
to
like,
indoctrinate people, and they have to be on the program. They have to be indoctrinated to the point where they go to church, they read the Bible, they eat their breakfast and eggs and bacon, and they smoke their cigarettes, and they all these products that are thrown at us 24/7, that keep other people wealthy. But
What?
and the oil and the
Excuse me.
gas. Oh,
mhm.
sorry. Okay, go ahead, MC.
Yeah,
If you
so
want
I
to
didn't mean to
introduce
cut you.
yourself,
That
my
was, that
brother,
was my
and then you
fault.
can kind of. It's all good. It's
Oh
all
yeah,
good, brother. Go ahead.
MKT NYC 47. I do apologize for jumping in. You were talking. That was rude of me. I apologize.
No worries, my
Um,
brother. Go ahead, my brother.
yeah, I do apologize. I think like when I look at like the generations of like, because when you look at indoctrination, like indoctrination is not like, oh, we indoctrinated just one generation. Like there's people who've passed on, like they're not even here anymore, but their ancestors are carrying on their sorcery,
Right.
if that's a lack of better terms, right? And I always
Exactly.
ask myself, like, how are you able to maintain, like, it's hard to get grandchildren to be on the same page as whatever the grandparents was on. You know what I mean? So I always wonder, like, what is the science on how to indoctrinate? Like, because a lot of us, when it comes to humans, right, we've been convinced we can't be trained the same way they train whales at SeaWorld, like to do flips. Like, Like if you can train a orca to do what you wanted to do, because they still have their sovereignty. Orcas never let go of their sovereignty. Like they can still take you out whenever they feel like it. They still got their own like mind, right? But for some reason, you can hack their psyche to enough to where you can get them to entertain the public. Whether you trick them to think that they just having fun doing it or they enjoy it or something, I don't know how you do it, but if you can trick an orca, how come you? What makes humans think that? I believe they have humans to the level where if they told humans sit, roll over like Fido, there's people that would do it, but they don't do that to humans. They don't make it trivial like that. So like like we think that the way we think it can't be controlled the same way we control animals, or we teach animals to be dependent on us. The same way we ride horses, as if the horse can't just be like, yo, get off me. I'm tired of this. Right. But the way we raise them, we put their mind in a box. We put their mind in a certain limitations. And I feel like they do the same thing to humans. So like the same way I can convince you to go to work, that's fine. I don't feel anything bad with working, right? You know, putting a little effort into the society. But then I'm tax you. Okay. Because remember, back in the days, when they said no taxation without representation, they was talking about like tea and a couple of different things, not like a whole bunch of like. Now we getting taxed on labor, we get taxed on what we buy, we get taxed if we even purchase like a house. You got to pay property tax. Like, why haven't we gone to war yet? If this was back in the days, dumb people, those men or that society would not have they wouldn't be taking this. But for some reason, we've been trained and indoctrinated enough where we think it's normal. But we can look at history and be like, all these taxes are not normal. But for some reason, they've shifted the paradigm, and now people think, oh, it makes it like everywhere I go, I'm getting taxed, but it's okay because taxes go to roads, but everywhere I go, there's potholes. Like, you know what I'm trying to say? So it's to the point where it's like, how is that not? But it just seems like it's a civilized version of it because we can walk around, I can talk, I can get a college degree, and all of a sudden I can develop this sub reality and make myself feel good about it. So like I make 100,000 a year, now I'm good. I'm like, oh, I'm part of the like kind of like 1% of the everyday citizen. But then you
The
paying taxes out the
bourgeoisie.
huh?
Oh, the bourgeoisie. I was saying, my brother. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah. No, I mean we can determine who's behind everything, but I'm just talking about the way we accept it. And if I tell a person there because we call it indoctrination. I call it training. It's like you just got trained, just like you send your pet to the canine school, and now they can search for paraphernalia. They know how to find different weapons. You can train them to do whatever, and that's what we are. We're trained to be workers. So where I'm gonna teach you a skill. So like the same way you teach the canine how to smell for smugs, you teach the human how to weld, and the human will go well for you. Will you know what I mean? And be upset about their check. Like go home, like man, I need to make more money, but they'll still get up and go welding, just like the little puppy will go and do whatever you ask for the day. You know what I mean? So we can catch these criminals. I need you to smell the suitcases at the airport. And all of a sudden, the dog feels like it's accomplishing something. I don't know if you ever been around them. They be like so excited, like, "Oh, I did my job. I feel like I achieved something." And we have the same. We wagging our tail too. Oh, my boss said I'm employee of the month. Oh, they gave me the picture on the wall, but
Right,
they
right.
won't give you a raise. Like you're
Yeah,
satisfied with the employee of the month plaque, but not a raise. Like
it's
you'll still say, okay, you know what? You get where I'm going with this, or
yeah,
just
yeah, most
yeah.
definitely, MC. It's like the ultimate glass ceiling, that will never break. I think Sheik wanted to say something, but I was saying the boule or the bourgeoisie because they think they're the high class, and they're being pawned as well. Even though they think they have all the luxuries and all the material wealth, they are still being controlled. And that's the ultimate game. I think Sheik wanted to say something, and then Nagwal, I brought up Nagwal because we were talking about this yesterday, and Nagwal kind of broke it down. And I fucking passed out on you, Nagwal. My bad last night, bro. You and Jay started talking, and I had to go to sleep. But Sheik, did you want to say something? I see your hand up.
Yeah. I just wanted to touch on a couple things MC was talking about. He made a good point. This thing, this stigma that our people have, right? That if we don't if we don't know something and somebody else knows it, or shall I say another group of people knows it, they can use that to their advantage to, to manipulate us. The thing is, it's the reason why humans aren't being treated like animals when it comes to that aspect is because we have what's called the ego. Our ego will contest somebody trying to control us. But if we don't know what they're doing to try to control us, we'll acquiesce without realizing. And, I can give an example of that. It was a time where people would take all of their earnings that they made from, whether it was on a farm or at the steel mill or whatever. It was a time where here in the United States of America, they would take their earnings, carry it to the bank because they was getting paid with certificates. So they would get a piece of paper which we call IOUs now, but they would get a silver certificate, write down whatever wages they made for the week or whatever, take that to the bank and get it swapped out for gold and silver. The banks had silver certificates that we can transfer into actual resources. They got us to the point where, and I'm saying us, but I'm talking about them back then. They got them to the point where, you know what, it's starting to get a little heavy to be carrying silver and gold around in the streets to make purchases. So we ended up running into the Civil War. And like I really need y'all to do the research and read up on what I'm talking about because most people think I'll be making it up. This is actual history. This is where we get the Federal Reserve, the idea for the Federal Reserve note from, because each state had their own currency or their own type of currency, I should say, and it was all based off of the resources. So like when you would look on the money, it would have, depending on what state it would be, it would have the people that represent the state, and then it would have whatever commodity or whatever resource that they generate from that state. It would be right there on the money. It would be depictions. But they had these silver certificates, these gold certificates. People got tired of carrying the gold and the silver around. So they started storing their gold and silver at the Federal Reserve, which, not it wasn't a Federal Reserve yet, but they had storage facilities for their gold and silver away from where they did business, away from where they lived. Now they're using the silver certificates to make the purchases without ever touching the resources. You've given somebody else control over your resources without realizing that's what you're doing. Because then fast forward a couple of years or even a decade, we had the Great Depression. And the result from the Great Depression was the gold clause, which happened in 1933. We want you to give up all your gold and silver that you have in your homes, bring it to the Federal Reserve, and we're gonna swap it out for this new type of currency. It's a legal tender. You can use it to pay off debt, lying through their teeth. Because how can you pay off debt without a resource? The paper has now because you've given it up. You gave it to the Federal Reserve and it belongs to them now. This is why Fort Knox, when they said they was going to go check Fort Knox, we still haven't heard the results of anything that they found in there yet. That's because it ain't in there. They been took it out. They got rid of it. But there was a debt accrued by them doing it. And because of, like I said, I keep saying law. I don't want y'all to think that I'm only about law, but law governs all events. You sure to save yourself from any situation if you know what law governed that event. And the law that governed that event is called the House Joint Resolution 192 of 1933. It gave the government rights to your gold and silver, but they had to create what's called a tacit mortgage insurance policy. This is a way of paying us back for taking our resources. They had the people thinking that by giving them these Federal Reserve notes and the ability to make purchases with these notes, as opposed to what they did with the other silver certificates and gold certificates, it made it convenient for them to make purchases. But now you don't have no resources to back up the purchases you're making. So you're creating more debt. Also, the Federal Reserve had the United States government in debt because they had to borrow the money from the Federal Reserve to pay us. And they bought so much. Let's say we get $1 billion. They print out the $1 billion, but now you got to pay for it. So there's interest involved. How are we going to pay the interest if we don't have the resource to start with? So now we got to borrow more to create the interest. So when we get our resources, meaning like when you go to work and you make your money and your check get taxed, people think that that money goes towards patching up holes in the street or getting the infrastructure in order. No, we're paying back interest on a loan that they took out from the Federal Reserve in 1933. And MC was stating that how is taxing us taking care of the potholes where every time I turn around it's a pothole. That's because it's not. But if I can get you to think it is, you won't try to fix it. And I know it took me a while to get that out, but that's literally what we've been dealing with for the last, you might as well say, the last 100 years. They got everybody thinking that they needed this new product to be able to do things when all they had to do is keep what they already had.
Facts, Sheik. Yeah, and I have heard of this before. I mean, you got all the details. You definitely like you refresh my memory, especially about the joint resolution and stuff like that. And I love how you guys always have this like it's good. They're like little footnotes in your brain, with the years and everything. And Nagal's the same way. What's up, Nagal? Welcome to the panel. I know you want to speak on this.
I'll go, Sam.
Welcome
Yeah,
to the
yeah.
panel, my brother.
What Sheik was just talking about, I had touched up on last night, and this is the secret letter by Woodrow Wilson establishing the Federal Reserve in 1913, which would eventually be followed by the Birth Cert Act of 1928. And that was eventually followed by HJR 192 in 1933, which on this happens the same year. I mentioned last night that it just happened on Henry Ruska in 1933 happened to quote create electron microscopy, which was the first time we were able to look at the subatomic level. So this is basically for about I would say 75 to 100 years. They had the theory of VIRUSES, those mysterious things that started a pandemic. So they had this theory before for about 100 years, and all of a sudden in 1933, just a few years after they started the Federal Reserve Act, the same year they did HJR 192, remove the gold standard, they happened to substantiate this genetically. So scientifically, they were able to substantiate those floating things in the air right after the Birth Certificate Act went in 1928. So that's when every single person within the boundaries that is known as the United States for-profit corporation was then commodified. So that we became the backing when they detached the dollars from the gold standard. So that same year, I can't say it, CANCER funding came along. So the American Cancer Society began the same year that they substantiated electron microscopy. So all of these things were happening right at the turn of this age, and it started a whole new era of what we are now subjected to. So we have you guys were talking about human behavior. And I was just witnessing yesterday, I don't know if you guys saw, but there was ICE agents in Vancouver, Washington. I'm in Oregon, and they had willingly ran over a gentleman's legs while he was being arrested on the street. They just ran his ass over, and no one did anything about it. So these are all methods of indoctrination that have been slowly being implemented into the quote education system. So anytime they want to get to normalize any of us, and when I say any of us, I mean globally. I mean, what happens here in the United States is what affects globally. All they have to do is implement some type of new construct that they want into education at a very low age, and then it eventually takes effect in the later ages. Then they'll eventually create some prerequisite in college for it, and then you have a new occupation, a new method of indoctrination for so-called adults.
That one last. My shit is lagging. I don't know why. The timing on that was. But that's exactly what we were talking about. How they're creating new trades, new occupations that have this glass ceiling, you know, that you're like, and they only make it available to serve them at the end of the day. And how they create all these different kinds of diseases and stuff like that too, like, or I don't know. But anyways, thank you for that, Miguel. Yeah, and I just to cap on what you were talking about yesterday, because I felt like it was coming back up. But Miguel, I got you, brother, for whatever you want to talk about. I'm good. I just finished some of the court stuff that I filed the appeal, and I'm dealing with a bunch of court stuff. So I finally have some free time now to just fuck around and try some shit to talk about. You know, do whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I think what we talked about last night with Jay, I definitely have you. You're the first person that's going to be a mod on my live, and then I'm thinking Jay's on the team now. I'm just looking for other people. It sounds like Sheik.
You recruited
Sheik,
Jay. That's nice.
like Sheik right here. He's the type of guy. I just listened to you, Sheik, and you were spot on every single thing that I said last night. And I know you didn't have anything to do with me last night, so I know you're the type of cat that keeps that type of logs at your disposal at all times. It just seems like you have that practice. I've been watching you from a distance for a while. I don't know if you'd be interested in becoming a mod of mine. A mod on my live is going to be very skilled. They're going to have access to documentation that they've been acquiring over years and years. And I'm just watching you from a distance, and it seems like you're one of those type of people. I don't know if you are, but please let me know.
Yeah, just I think we friends already. Just send me an invite when you start your live. I'll definitely assist you.
Word, fam. Sounds good. Thank you.
No
And
doubt.
for all your work
Say
as well,
this,
fam.
right? One of the things that I'm noticing is very very shiesty when it comes to like the society we live in. Because when you look at humans, right, they study us, they study human behavior from the crown of your head to the soles of your feet. They document what temperatures do for you, what colors do for you. They know exactly what the point that you'll fall into hypothermia. They know if it's too cold. They know if it's too hot. Like they study us, right? But what I think is totally effed up is that why don't they give that data to the general public? Why am I not learning how colors affect me, how sounds affect me, how temperatures affect me? Why am I not learning that to at least say, okay, look, we're going to give you that information so you can counter a lot of this propaganda and all this subliminal messaging. But if you don't really read and comprehend it and whatever, then that's on you. But it's like, what kind of society is that? So that means one half of society which they give the data to. They give it to the marketing agencies, the advertising agencies, to the medical field. They give it to the commercials. They give it to the movies. So all of these corporations and industries have all the data to get you to buy Tide over Gain, to buy Mercedes over Audi. Like, you understand? But so to me, it should be illegal. How are you giving information to a group that's all about making people consumers, right? And you don't give that information to the public, but then you're saying, oh, personal accountability. How can I have personal accountability when they're deliberately keeping vital information away from me that will help me to protect my mind from all this nonsense that they're pushing, right? So you leave me vulnerable, like I say, like a Wi-Fi without a password. So I'm walking around here like, doo. I ain't got no VPN on my brain, on my psyche, on my subconscious. So I'm just walking around. Everything is hitting me, the commercials, everything. That's why when I create a logo, I'm trying to create something cool, something fun. When other people create a logo who have gotten the data, they make it a triangle. It's not a coincidence they made it blue or red or yellow because they already have the data on how colors affect the people. So it's like it seems like it's only two types of citizens in this world or in this country. That's the manipulated citizen and the manipulator. Because everybody, like, think about it. When people argue, right, especially when it's a racial thing, what do people be arguing about? Like, I understand somebody saying, look, a certain person broke into my house, beat me up, smacked my wife. I don't like these people anymore. At least I understand why you so angry. But a lot of people just, I don't like you. Why? I just don't like you. See what I'm saying? It's like, this is ridiculous. That means you've been trained to not like somebody. But no one wants to admit that they've been trained or indoctrinated or completely fooled. Like, Because everybody, like the ego kicks in. It's like, no, I'm in control of my life. Ain't don't nobody tell me what to do. Oh, really? So why are you comfortable with a 30-year mortgage? Why are you comfortable? Who told you that mortgage has to last 30 years? Who told you that? I watch people do banking, right? And they will be like, yo, I get 1 full% on my money. And they be having a conversation. Well, I get 1.3. Really? Well, I need to sit down with you because I'm only getting point. So they've gotten to the point where we're satisfied with 1% return on our money. Like, show me where we're not trained. Show me where we're not Fido doing the flips, chasing the frisbee. Like, think about it. Like, and I land here. Years ago, when it came to like being a man, it was about fishing, hunting, all these things to provide for your family, right? Nowadays, all those things are just for sport now. Fishing is sport now. Cutting wood, cutting logs for the wood, and that's a sport now. Like years ago, LeBron James would not be in the basketball; he'd be in the army. How do we have all these the tallest, strongest people on the planet in America playing basketball, and they're not in the military? They're not. They're not in our. None of them are in our self defense world. Are you kidding me? Do you NBA players are huge? Why are they? Why are they? Why this person with this phenomenal stature that's like nobody else? Like 1 in 7 million people have this level of stature, and all they are these big, strong guys. They're only good for for entertainment. And then we go to, you know what I'm trying to say? So it just gets to the point where it's like even though we watch how Rome used to say, hey, entertain them, keep them distracted. We watch movies that tell us that's what Rome did. But when we watch the NFL, we don't think it's the same Roman thing in the Coliseum. We
Well,
think we think it's football.
I've seen many comparisons for the NFL draft being to the slave auction. Where they have them jump as high as they can, run as fast as they can, and they have like numbers on them, and they actually
They
literally
literally
have
put their fingers in their mouth.
they literally have an auctioneer being
Bro, we have X-ray machines. You ain't got to put your fingers in nobody's mouth. What is your fingers gonna do that the X-ray machine is not gonna do? It's not gonna accomplish. See, you just want to put your fingers in their mouth so that you can assert dominance.
Well, no, it's
And nobody
actually
says
it's
that.
actually science behind that. I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, you
It's,
know what I mean.
it's
Like, yeah,
yeah, they have their reasons, but they don't let the general public know what they're doing. Like you said, with the colors and stuff, most people don't realize that everything that has to do with food might have the color red in it.
right.
Everything that has to do with lawn care and ecology, eco friendly is always green. A lot of stuff that
Right.
has yellow in it is normally dealing with cleaning or softening. You got the
Mm,
color white that's supposed to make you they say white repels light or heat, but most of the things that have white on it, they claim the term pure is attached to it. Things that have the term black on it, it might have some kind of evil tone to it, or might like midnight. They have the color
mm,
purple. All
right.
these things are brainwaves and frequencies that they know exist, but the general public don't care to tap into. So they're being
Right.
manipulated.
Right.
Yep.
But it's like the calendar, right? So Des has always been 10. It don't matter what you do. I've always known Des is 10, Nova's 9, Oct is 8, right? And we all notice
Hmm.
that the calendar's off. But how the hell did we let that slide? Because we're indoctrinated when it comes to the calendar. We're not educated when it comes to the calendar. This is what it is. Believe that. That's it. Done. Let's move on. Like, right? It's like a dictatorship in a sense. So like we may call it, oh, it's just education. No, that's a dictatorship style of education. If you're giving me something that's inaccurate, meaning the calendar is 100% math. Math is the one thing you can't play with. Like they figured out a way to play with math right in our
Hmm.
face. They playing in our face. So it's like when I'm looking at all these things, I'm just looking around, and I'm saying, yo, they playing with us. But look how many generations it was able to get by. Even like in the world we live in, like they literally created a loop, and we accept it. January 1st, Happy New Year's, President's Day, MLK,
everything,
Valentine's
every,
Day. So you
everything's
telling me I'm gonna?
everything's a commodification. So what you were saying about before, about the athletes. They're worth more commodified in an entertainment world than they are in the in the war field. So whether you take chainsaw used to be a living or fishing used to be a living, now they commodified it into a sports game that you can program on TV, and it's no longer. So someone made a funny joke like, you could teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a day,
Mm-hmm.
but if you
He'll eat
if
that
you give a
night.
man a fish, he'll eat for a day. You teach a man to fish, then he's gonna have to go buy a car to get a license to drive to the place to get a fishing license. Then he has to go get a fishing pole with a hook. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so just give him the fish.
That's
That's a fact right there.
hilarious.
Now all of a sudden you can teach him how to fish, but then he's got all this red tape
That's
to go through
crazy.
just to get to it. You know
That's
what I'm saying?
hilarious.
You gotta get a permit. That's the first time I heard that, bro. That
Right.
is insane. All my years, I'm using that.
It's all yours, family. You already know.
Yo, that's crazy. But that's
Yeah,
exactly what we
facts,
dealing with,
facts.
bro.
Yeah, that was hilarious. And
It's
while
like
we're on
that goes
this,
back to the people being happy with what they know and not accepting new knowledge. It's because now I gotta go be responsible for what I know.
Yeah, the
right?
real burden lies upon a person. Like, as a Nahual or a shaman, I was spent 3 years in isolation, and always tell people what a horrifying experience it was, and they're like, people are, what would be so horrifying about it? And I was like, look, I was left alone basically a cave that was my condo with nothing but myself and mushrooms for 3 years, just
Damn.
me alone. It's like when the veil began to lift, I began to see how irresponsible and lazy I was. I was like, everything that I had depended on, my identity, history, health, was just laid out for me. I didn't have to work for any of it. It was just there for me to absorb and not think about anything. But when I was left alone, I began to investigate. All I did was research and write for 3 years with mushrooms. Twice a day I would take them. And what they did is they lifted my veil of insecurity and all the comforts that I have lived with for so long. And as I began to research, I began to take responsibility on for the things that I had just taken for granted. All the indoctrination that it came to when it came to my personal identity. I had to physically go reach for it, and then not only read all this literature, but then I had to contemplate and delineate and discern for myself what is useful and what is not. There is the horror. It's like understanding that I'm not who I thought I was. Things aren't what they seem to be. We're not headed where we've been led to believe. It's nothing is real. Like even the things that I want to be good. I want to be a good person. The phone that I'm holding in my hand at this very moment is responsible for unaliving people in multiple countries, be in the Congo, China. I'm not as good as I may want to believe I am. And the fact that I'm involved in G-Side across the planet is not an easy thing to cope with on the daily.
Mm.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
Oh, okay. I don't. Something's up with my phone,
It's like what
but
you're
I
saying is that in some cases we're complicit, whether we know it or not, but that doesn't excuse you because you're not aware when you could have been aware because we live in the information age. So
All
it's
the
like,
information is literally
Well,
at our
we live in the
fingertips.
information age now.
right,
It wasn't
right.
always in the open information age. Best to believe there was a shift. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
Gen X, we're a unique generation where we're literally a bridge generation from we're coming out of the analog and into the digital world. So we have experience in both worlds. We remember what it used to be without these new technologies, but we're
Right.
also given the new technologies to experiment with and begin to develop ourselves. So, but what we've been completely removed from is the responsibility behind the proliferation of these new technologies, the advertising of them being so useful and uh, convenient. The convenience is what's so expensive. People don't see it. You can't see how expensive convenience is. But when you go look up what happens to the people in China working at Fox Corporation, having to work 18, 20-hour days, throwing themselves off the top of rooftops, onto sidewalks they literally had to build fences across these huge sidewalks because people from the top kept landing on the civilians on the bottom because they
yeah,
were
they
working
put
20-hour
nets up,
shifts a day.
Negral. They put
What's
nets
that?
up.
Yeah, that's deep.
They put
Yeah.
nets up to save
Yeah, they
them.
literally did that. And then you got the Congo, you got kids, 10, 12 years old in the middle of these huge pits digging for coltan that are unaliving every day. I think it was 1,500 unalives a day in the Congo alone. And I'm sitting over here believing that I'm connected with this thing in my phone. I'm so connected, I don't even know what the TV's made. I have no idea what goes into the phone that I feel that makes me quote feel connected. That's some bullshit.
Or the radiation coming off this shit too, right?
Facts.
Listen, bro, I spend so much time without the phone near me. Like even with a Bluetooth, I haven't spotted it yet, but the Bluetooth is probably the safest thing for us right now, for us to use our phones. Because
Well, I
even
use
though
it.
it contains a small amount of radiation, it's such a small amount that it will only affect you if you just have your earbud in all day long. You know what I'm saying? If you just keep it in, you never take it out. But it's literally everything you could think of that you use on a regular basis. Somebody had to either, lose some energy or some sleep over, or they were unalived over. It was one of the reasons why I stopped wearing my wedding ring when I was married. And my wife couldn't understand, like, yo, you trying to hide something? You don't want people to know you married? I'm like, no, I'm going to make sure I tell everybody I'm married. But that ring, somebody lost their life over it, and I refuse to promote that. So I stopped wearing the ring.
That's a
And
fact.
it's small things like that cause a ripple effect with other people. Because now they thinking like, well, she let him get away with that. Most dudes that take their ring off, they want to cheat. No, it ain't even that. That ain't even the case. I got
It's
enough respect for people across the world.
a societal pressure, fam. It's a societal pressure that everyone lives under, not admitting that it's going on every day of our lives.
Yup, I definitely appreciate that.
But you know what I find interesting though, like when we make mentions of like, let's say, like you mentioned the Congo, right? And we mentioned like all this like stuff that's going on with within the country and stuff, but due to outside foreign influence. But the Congo they have militaries. Like these countries have real military, the F-16s, tanks. Like like when I look at, let's say, from the BLK American experience, right, in terms of our history, we ain't never had no tanks. We ain't never had no F-16s and rocket bazookas, and you know what I'm saying? Like literally, like we have it in the military. These countries have real militaries, and it's like that's why sometimes it start to look like, well, who are you using the military on? Who are you using these tanks on? Matter of fact, y'all need to give up some of this military equipment if y'all not using it. It's like you're only using it against your own people, like to stop them from making that ultimate change. So it's like
Right.
it's like when you look at the level of betrayal, like people will say that so-called African Americans are not united. But if I go to a country where y'all are all the same for the most part, y'all speak the same languages for the most part, y'all got your own faces on your money, you know your culture, you know your history. This prime minister is the same people, the president is the same people, the Congress, the Senate, everybody's of the tribes of that country. So it's not like you're dealing with an adverse race or a different ethnic group that doesn't understand your position. So when you start talking about who's not loyal, who doesn't have unity, it's the countries that have militaries that are not using it to defend their own people. Like
MC,
that's the ultimate level of like disunity and treason to your
MC,
people.
I have to interject. Obviously, USA has the most imperialistic kind of. They dominate. They got everybody under their thumb. They dominate so much that they bring foreign aid to other people. They come into other nations to destabilize them. They control those people. They control the government in those. They put people in positions of power so those
Mm-hmm.
minerals can keep flowing. So those minerals, and so the people are the ones that are lost because they think it's a tribal warfare. We were talking about Ethiopia and Eritrea getting its independence from Ethiopia, but Eritrea, the people they were saying, this group that I hang out with, they're like, we don't need these tanks. We don't need these guns. We got to get rid of this shit because it's not helping us. We're only using it against each other. So you could see how it plays out. Here in America, obviously no one's fucking with us. We can walk out the street and not worry about tanks. I mean there are areas where tanks are around and shit like that, but we're not using it amongst ourselves. It's not like there's no civil wars here. That shit's over. But over there, brother, like that's that shift where they're still in they're still in a different dimension, brother. We left those countries in a
Yeah.
different dimension when we
Right.
interfaced with them as the United States. But
Mhm.
anyways, I just wanted to put that in
Mhm.
there.
But when you
Yeah, they
think of the
also
United
sell
States,
their
right?
they also sell their the tanks and stuff like that. Their artillery. Because we're so powerful here in America, we can give them our throwaways. It's kind of unfair, but they got some good minds over in all those countries too that can figure out how to reconstruct something and make it more tough, I should say. But we give most countries our throwaways. I know you know that. We gave India a majority of our old tanks back after the Second World, after the Civil War.
Yeah,
We
our
gave them
hand me
most of our old
downs,
stuff.
our hand me
That's the whole
downs.
play. Well, that's the whole play. We got to have someone to release these overstock because we've put so much money into the new development that like people
Hmm.
they feed these lines of investigation are people like what are they called the people who they stock up for like the eventual civil WAR, I forget what they're called, but they they teach them to get all the stockpile on weapons and stuff like that, and they don't even know if that was to ever come. They have sound weapons that would completely render any type of old weaponry useless. You could come with you could come from a 2 mile radius of these sound weapons and with your little pew pew, and you'd end up shitting yourself and vomiting all over yourself from 2 miles away and
Hmm.
not even know
I
why.
know just what you're talking about, bro. I know just what you're talking about.
I forget what they're called. They're called
Direct energy
oh
beams,
no, yeah,
something
those are
like.
DEWs, direct energy weapons, but the people who the people who stock up on like food and that type of stuff, forget their name, but those are the people like you create that type of narrative, like, oh, you better watch out for this, so people go stockpile up on pew pews and stuff like that, and then you've gotten rid of your back stock, so now you have new money to develop dues and stuff like that.
That's crazy. I never even looked at it that way.
Yeah, man,
So
yeah,
that so that they don't have to use the military budget to actually create these new weapons. They
correct.
just use the stockpile. Got you.
I mean, you saw the evidence of that in what was it, Ollie North? When they created the the Smug Wars down in Colombia, and they're like,
Yeah.
okay, we'll just give these brown chickens down there all these leftover weapons. They'd be stockpiling for years, and they just created WASRs down there, and it was like, all right, so the CIA got funded through that whole thing, and they were able to develop new weaponry.
Mm.
I mean, I went into the Marine Corps in 1992, and the pew pews that we use over there, they're literally outdated. I mean, I think the only thing that they still use is the M16 A2 service rifle, but other than that, every other pew pew is out of service. All the new ones I've never even heard of before.
That's insane.
And then who was that one kid? That one kid that invented the VR headset or whatever. He just started
Yeah.
getting contracts for doing the AI drones that drop the bombs and stuff. That shit's gonna be ridiculous, man. It's gonna be
Bro,
And get
AI drones and shit, like non-pilots, and oh my god, it's over
so
with.
I remember
Well,
that.
We
what
cooked. We
what about
cooked.
the drones that they making down in Brazil right now, bro? Did you hear about them?
Nah,
It's they calling it a military and physics breakthrough. These
oh
fools
no,
done figured out a way to have drones self
oh
not
no.
only self sufficient, but they don't need moving parts to navigate. What I mean is, instead of using spinning blades or propellers to use, for thrust to lift off of the ground, they literally use ionized air or electrified
Oh,
air.
yeah, I've seen this before.
They use the air around them to create a magnetic field so that
Yeah,
they can go against gravity.
yeah. It's almost like the implosion technology rather than explosion.
Can you guys
Hmm.
explain this for the layman people?
There's a few TikTok videos on it where they run electrical charges through these through a series of like vents of some sort where it charges the air in between the vents and it begins a vacuum of some sort by electrical impulses that it runs in sequence. So it's with the technology that we've been used to. So they've had anti-gravity technology since the 70s, the late 70s. It's just that
Yeah, long time.
we're still pushing large penises, up into the air via thrust. It's like uh, Elon Musk and all that type of stuff. But it's like they've had the real technology in the background for some time. So there's a difference between explosion and implosion. So anytime you see an explosion of some sort, is typically it puts off a red spectrum. So that's why fires is the technology of an explosion, where you have a combustible a fuel of some sort, and it gives off the red spectrum. An implosion gives off a blue spectrum. So a blue spectrum is in the form of like a lightning bolt. So what you see as electrical current that comes down from the sky is also charged from the ground itself. So it's rather than having a fan that propels and pushes against something, you use an implosion, which forces against itself rather than a force outside of itself. So an
Oh
implosion is the inverse
wow.
of an
I
explosion.
get it. I
Hmm.
get it. That's crazy. I mean, that's how we've always thought about how to move, like moving parts. You know, it needs the, but it can
Yeah, that's
do it
why.
within itself.
Like
You
when
ever
they
watch
thought about it,
You ever watch Dragon Ball Z?
no,
Yeah, Dragon Ball
The
Z,
cartoon
the
Dragon Ball
only
Z.
I've
anime
never
that
seen
I've
it. No,
ever watched.
You ever
Collect
watch
all
how
7
Goku used to
balls.
travel?
no, I've never seen that. I have no reference to this.
You got Nicole.
Oh,
You
you gotta
gotta,
look it up, man.
man. You gotta
You
get
gotta see
hot.
that.
You gotta get on mushrooms and smoke some weed and watch Dragon Ball Z, dog.
Watch that on the best ones you got in your bunch. Make sure you watch Dragon Ball Z after
Yeah,
that,
bro,
because
that's the one. That's a
even
keeper.
with you having the knowledge, the actual technical knowledge about what we was just talking about, when you see it in that form, you're gonna be like, "Holy shit!" Listen, Goku gonna be in your face the whole night.
It's funny because I haven't watched.
Guys,
I don't watch
I
TV. I
got.
haven't
Hey,
watched TV for like
guys, I
20
gotta
years.
end it. Sorry, I got flagged right now for misinformation. Unfortunately,
Oh
Oh,
shit!
I know it's so
we
stupid. Every
saying too
time we
much
get
for
a
you. Take
good
it easy,
fucking
bro.
convo, I swear.
I'm gonna wear a
Let me know
filter
what we
next
got
time,
flagged
Bob.
for. Vibes.
I just screenshotted it. I'll send it to you.
Word.
You want to
Word.
start one, Nigual, and I'll come to you.
Let
Or
me check that out. I'll get in touch with you, DM.
yeah, let me know. Okay, all right.
All right, easy.
You guys
Yeah,
can follow me
send me a
wherever.
notification.
See me wherever I'm at. If you guys want to come join, okay.
All right.
I'll be on the lives. Okay, bye.